Hi, everybody. Welcome to my homestead. Welcome to my channel. My name is Jared. I was doing my personal study reading the Book of Mormon, and I came across 2 Nephi chapter 20. And I read the chapter heading that says, "The destruction of Assyria is a type of the destruction of the wicked at the second coming. Few people will be left after the Lord comes again." And this is a topic that's come up from time to time on the channel. I'm trying to visualize, trying to understand exactly what things are going to be like after all the appearances of Christ and after the burning. And I don't think that we can get that clear of a picture, frankly. I think that we're just going to have to wait and see what it's actually like. I think that the scriptures and the words of the prophets give us some idea, but I really think that we are just in for a ride. And one of the biggest things is this depopulation event. Because you understand that's what's happening. Those that are living a telestial lifestyle, those that are the wicked, they're going to be removed off the face of the earth. Don't worry, I'm going to go over the quotes and the scriptures and stuff, but and I don't know what percentage that is. I've been trying to get an idea, just how many people can we expect will be gone after the burning? Is it going to be a third of the world's population? Is it going to be half? Is it going to be more than half? Any one of those numbers or those percentages would be pretty astounding. And I think things are just going to be so surreal after it happens. The quiet that remains. It's kind of like if you've watched the Avengers and you have Infinity War in Endgame. It has to do with this event where, spoiler alert, I'm sure you've seen it by now, but the main bad guy of those two movies, his goal is to wipe out half of all life throughout the universe. And he does so. He succeeds, but then, it gets fixed at the resolution of the second movie. But the way that they portrayed it in the movie is that there's just this quiet because half of all life is gone. And society is able to continue. Civilization continues, but there's this period of rebuilding and, there's some chaos and it's just kind of surreal. So we are going to get into this concept. Few people will be left after the Lord comes again. Before we do that, here is the Flood the Earth Challenge. This is updated as of May 10th. We're at 8,863 copies of the Book of Mormon that have been shared so far. We're trying to get to 10,000. We're getting pretty close, so just keep it up, everybody. The goal is to try and at least share 10 copies of the Book of Mormon, each of us individually. But don't stop there. Do as many as you can. Once you do, let me know in the comments or send me an email. Make sure to include #flood up here at the top left, #flood. It helps me find your comment in your email because that's what I search for. And then just remember that the easiest way to share the Book of Mormon is with the Gospel Library app. Go to Scriptures. You'll see a button that says share, and it'll give you a link that you can share that will guide people to the Book of Mormon app. Okay? It was designed specifically for people that aren't familiar with the Book of Mormon. Okay, so I have this spreadsheet, as you know, called Quotes A through Z. The link for my spreadsheets is in the description box of each video. There's two people looking at it right now as I make this video. So you go down to the tab called Quotes A through Z. You can also go here at the bottom left where it says All Sheets and then quickly navigate to it. And I have 3 entries so far, 3 topics for the burning at the time of the second coming. So the first one is destruction of the wicked already commenced. That's an interesting quote. We've already covered that in another video. Destruction of the wicked, fire at the second coming. That's when I was trying to get down to when we talk about fire, what does that actually mean? And it seems like the consensus is the fire is caused by the glory of Christ and all the resurrected saints who've been resurrected to a celestial glory. When they come, their glory will consume the wicked and every corruptible thing. I think it's not just people, but I think it's other things too, bad things. Okay, use your imagination. So now I have this newest one, destruction of the wicked, how many will remain? So I'll go over what I have so far. I'm sure I'll add on to this as time goes on, just like I do with all these different topics. Okay, so let's start with the scripture that I was reading. 2 Nephi chapter 20. It's talking about Assyria, but it's a type of like the wicked at the time of the second coming. Few people will be left after the Lord comes again. And it seems to me that the verses that have to do with this the most, this concept, are verses 17 through 23. And the light of Israel shall be for a fire, and his Holy One for a flame, and shall burn and shall devour his thorns and his briars in one day. Let me just point out, that's I would say that that's millennial language right there, because before the fall, the earth was in a paradisiacal state, and there were no thorns and briars. There were no thistles and weeds and whatever. It wasn't until after the earth fell from a paradisiacal terrestrial state down into this current celestial state. And when we enter into the millennium, it's going to go back to a paradisiacal terrestrial state, not a terrestrial glory, a terrestrial state or a condition. We're currently in a telestial condition. Okay. And shall consume the glory of his forest and of his fruited field, both soul and body, and they shall be as when a standard bearer fainteth. Which I've seen a couple times when I was in the army, the guide on the person that has the flag, like when you're running or marching, like running in formation or marching in formation. It's kind of funny. And the rest of the trees of his forest shall be few. Okay. So of course, like trees are being essentially equated to people, right? Whenever I think about trees, I think about human beings and family trees, right? Because you have roots and then you have branches, you have those that came before you, you have those that'll come after you. And so, and the rest of the trees of his forest shall be few, that a child may write them. And I didn't get any like clarification on what that means, but I assume that means like, there's going to be so few that, not literally, but this is just metaphorical, how children, it's hard for them to like count large numbers. So it's like, you guys, it's going to be like a kid, like there's going to be so few that a child can write it down or like can count. Not literally, just metaphorically. And it shall come to pass in that day that the remnant of Israel and such as are escaped of the house of Jacob shall no more again stay upon him that smote them, but shall stay upon the Lord, the Holy One of Israel, in truth. The remnant shall return, yea, even the remnant of Jacob, unto the mighty God. For though the people of Israel be, excuse me, for though the people of Israel be as the sand of the sea, so even though Israel, like, there are many of them, you think back to the Abrahamic covenant, the posterity, that's compared to the sands of the sea or the stars in heaven. So even those, like, there's literally a lot, yet a remnant of them shall return. The consumption decreed shall overflow with righteousness. For the Lord of hosts shall make a consumption even determined in all the land. Now, I compared this to Isaiah chapter 10 because that's where this comes from. And for the verses that we just read, it's exactly the same. I went to the Institute student manual. This is for what we just read, 2 Nephi 20, God's judgment on Assyria, just so that you understand what's going on here. Although the Assyrians were allowed to prevail against Israel and Judah, they also faced the judgments of God for their unrighteousness. So they had their own unrighteousness to deal with, right? Chapter 20 of 2 Nephi contains a prophecy concerning the destiny of Assyria, the fulfillment of which has been historically confirmed. Isaiah mentioned some of the successful military campaigns of Assyria and prophesied of the eventual intrusion and success against Judah, even listing the names of many of the cities of Judah that would fall to Assyria. Nevertheless, the Assyrians eventually failed, and the destruction of both Israel and Assyria is described as complete. Now, this is the key part. So he is talking about something that he prophesied and that actually happened. But as you know, Isaiah speaks in like layers. So there's like different layers to his prophecies. So here's the last part. The destruction of Israel and Assyria is also a type, or like a foreshadowing, right, of the destruction of the wicked in any age, including the latter days. So when the wicked are destroyed at the second coming. So, and then from this point, let me go to Millennial Messiah. I wanted to see if Bruce R. McConkie had anything to say about this. I was sure that he did. So this is Millennial Messiah, page 650. Okay, first, the cleansing of the vineyard, the burning of the earth, and the destruction of the wicked by fire shall all come to pass in a short time, even in a single day, as it were. And you know what? I need to make another entry for that. Destruction of the wicked, single day. Yeah, I'll have to do that after I'm done with this video. And then there will be but few men left on earth. Okay. So here it's being confirmed again. Bruce R. McConkie, he refers to different scriptures to confirm that. I will remove the iniquity of that land in one day, the Lord told Zechariah. Zechariah 3:9. And in Isaiah, we find numerous prophetic expressions phrased in that imagery in which he so excelled. Many houses shall be desolate, even great and fair, without an inhabitant. Isaiah 5:9. Those sent to raise the warning voice to the world are to do so until the cities be wasted without inhabitant, and the houses without man, and the land be utterly desolate, and the Lord have removed men far away. Isaiah 6:11 through 12. We're going to read that one after this. In the day of the Lord's coming, the light of Israel shall be for a fire. Now this is the scripture that we just read. And his Holy One for a flame, and it shall burn and devour his thorns and his briars in one day. And shall consume the glory of the forest and of his fruit, of his fruitful field, both soul and body. And they shall be as when a standard bearer fainteth. I love that. And the rest of the trees of his forest shall be few, that a child may write them. Isaiah 10:17 through 19. Behold, the Lord maketh the earth empty, and maketh it waste, and turneth it upside down, and scattereth abroad the inhabitants thereof. The land shall be utterly emptied and utterly spoiled. Therefore hath the curse devoured the earth, and they that dwell therein are desolate. Therefore the inhabitants of the earth are burned, and few men left. Isaiah 24:1 through 6. And then Bruce R. McConkie says, who can doubt that there will be but few men left at the beginning of the millennium? So, and that, yeah, I don't doubt that. It'd be interesting to know just like how many, like percentage wise. If it's like 50%, I would count that as few, but he is saying few, and there's nothing like with the 10 virgins, the parable of the 10 virgins. In that case, that has to do with members of the church, not the world. So in the case of members of the church, you have this pretty specific percentage of half. Half of them were wise and they were ready. Half of them were foolish and they were not ready. And I'm not going to go through the whole thing here, but when it comes to the church and the 10 virgins, we've studied that it's not about good versus bad. It's those who are ready when Christ comes, as in they're on the covenant path, they're active in church. Because I think that when Christ comes, there's going to be certain events that you'll only be able to participate in if you're ready. You know, if you're a temple recommend holder, you're an honest temple recommend holder. And then those that don't, they won't be able to participate. So that's that. We have kind of like that percentage when it comes to the church. In fact, Dallin H. Oakes of the Quorum of the 12, I'm not going to look it up, but he, in his talk called Preparing for the Second Coming, it's like something like that from April 2004, he said that the arithmetic is chilling, that only half were ready. Now, when it comes to the world and those that are burned, okay, so this is a different concept from the the 10 virgins. When we're talking about the world and how many are going to be burned, we don't have any sort of percentage or anything like that. It seems to me that the best that we have is the word few. So I would even say maybe more than half. If we say few, like that seems to me like that would be less than half. I don't know. Now, just because I know there's probably going to be some people that are new to the channel or they haven't really studied this, when we're talking about the wicked, there is a definition for what that means. Who is considered wicked? Okay, so let me show you. First, we have Joseph Fielding Smith. At the time, he was president of the Quorum of the 12 Apostles in his book called Doctrines of Salvation, Volume 3, page 62. When the reign of Jesus Christ comes during the millennium, only those who have lived the telestial law, so that's the bottom degree, right? Celestial, terrestrial, telestial is the bottom. Only those who have lived the telestial law will be removed. The earth will be cleansed of all of its corruption and wickedness. Those who have lived virtuous lives, who have been honest in their dealings with their fellow man and have endeavored to do good to the best of their understanding, shall remain. Bruce R. McConkie confirms this in Millennial Messiah, page 651. Taken together, these concepts mean that wickedness that is telestial in nature, wickedness that consists of living after the manner of the world, that wickedness which is carnal, sensual, and devilish by nature, all such shall cease. Those who so live will be destroyed. They are the tares of the earth. Okay, so people that are living a terrestrial law or a celestial law, they will move on into the millennium. It's just that we don't know, what percentage that is. Furthermore, there's also this concept of it's not just going to be members of the church that make it through to the other side of the second coming. It's going to be all different belief systems that now exist. So I'm going to show you a new quote that I have from, so this is on my spreadsheet called Quotes, Common Misconceptions. The misconception, only members of the church will make it through the second coming and into the millennium. Okay, I have a bunch of these. And I'm working on standardizing all these so that this looks more the way I have my quotes A through Z spreadsheet formatted. So just give me some time to work on that. So my newest one for this misconception comes from Journal of Discourses, Volume 6, pages 342 to 343. Brigham Young. Whoever lives to see the kingdom of God fully established upon the earth will see a government that will protect every person in his rights. If that government was now reigning upon this land of Joseph, you would see the Roman Catholic, the Greek Catholic, the Episcopalian, the Presbyterian, the Methodist, the Baptist, the Quaker, the Shaker, the Hindu, right? Hindus, they're polytheistic. The Hindu, the Mohammedan, which are Muslims, and every class of worshipers who most strictly protected in all their municipal rights and in the privilege of worshiping who, what, and when they pleased, not infringing upon the rights of others. Does any candid person in this sound judgment desire any greater liberty? So that one was a little bit more ambiguous, but he is talking about the millennium. But just so that it's clear, we're going to look at Joseph Fielding Smith. Again, this is Doctrines of Salvation, Volume 1, page 86. Some members of the church have an erroneous idea that when the millennium comes, all the people are going to be swept off the earth except righteous members of the church. This is not so. There will be millions of people, Catholics, Protestants, agnostics, Mohammedans, people of all classes and of all beliefs, still permitted to remain upon the face of the earth. But they will be those who have lived clean lives, those who have been free from wickedness and corruption, all who belong by virtue of their good lives to the terrestrial order, as well as those who have kept the celestial law, will remain upon the face of the earth during the millennium. Eventually, however, the knowledge of the Lord will cover the earth as the waters do the sea. But there will be a need for the preaching of the gospel after the millennium is brought in. So missionary work is going to continue until all men are either converted or pass away. In the course of the 1,000 years, all men will either come into the church or kingdom of God, or they will die and pass away. In that day, there will be no death until men are old. Children will not die, but will live to the age of a tree. Isaiah says this is 100 years. When the time comes for men to die, they'll be changed in the twinkling of an eye, and there will be no graves. Okay, so now hopefully if you didn't know before this video, now you understand who will remain and who won't. So it goes along the lines of the different laws, the law of the celestial kingdom, the terrestrial kingdom, and the telestial kingdom. Now to finish up, let's just read these scriptures in full that Bruce R. McConkie mentioned in Millennial Messiah. So Isaiah chapter 6, verses 9 through 13. And he said, "Go and tell this people, hear ye indeed, but understand not, and see ye indeed, but perceive not. Make the heart of this people fat, and make their ears heavy, and shut their eyes, lest they see with their eyes, and hear with their ears, and understand with their heart, and convert, and be healed. Then said I, Lord, how long?" So he's asking, how long are we going to be doing, this missionary work? Go and tell this people. How long? And he answered, until the cities be wasted without inhabitant. So this is in reference to the second coming. Until the houses be wasted without inhabitant, and the houses without man, and the land be utterly desolate. So here, we're talking about cities being wasted and without inhabitant. Maybe we'll see some cities that it's like nothing but telestial. I don't know. Or maybe the vast majority of certain cities, small towns, I don't know, are nothing but telestial. I wouldn't be so. I kind of would be surprised, but who knows? Okay, continuing. And the Lord have removed men far away, and there be a great forsaking in the midst of the land. But in it shall be a tenth, and it shall return, and shall be eaten as a teil tree, and as an oak, whose substance is in them. When they cast their leaves, so the holy seed shall be the substance thereof. So this last verse, there's a commentary on that in the Institute Student Manual, scattering and gathering of the remnant of Judah. So this is talking about the context of the scattering of Judah, right? Again, Isaiah speaks, there's like double meanings and multiple layers. But it says here, this verse records the prophecy that the house of Israel would survive the coming devastation, as does a tree that is stripped of its leaves in winter, but still remains alive. So, okay, and the last one, Isaiah 24. I'm going to read the chapter heading. Men will transgress the law and break the everlasting covenant. At the second coming, they will be burned. The earth will reel, and the sun shall be ashamed. Then the Lord will reign in Zion and in Jerusalem. Behold, the Lord maketh the earth empty, and maketh it waste, and turneth it upside down, and scattered abroad the inhabitants thereof. And it shall be as with the people, so with the priest, as with the servant, so with his master, as with the maid, so with her mistress, as with the buyer, so with the seller, as with the lender, so with the borrower, as with the taker of usury or interest, so with the giver of usury to him. The land shall be utterly emptied and utterly spoiled, for the Lord hath spoken his word. The earth mourneth and fadeth away, the world languisheth and fadeth away, the haughty people of the earth do languish. Okay, so that's what I have so far. If you have any other quotes along these lines, feel free to send them to me. The best way is in email, and just make sure that the subject line is very clear what you're sending to me. But that's all that I have for this one. So if you haven't already, please make sure to subscribe, like this video if you liked it, leave your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. Also make sure to share it, and I'll talk to you guys later.